it's not just the third world where this is going on. So there's a Dutch farmer protest. So I didn't know about this at all.
Yeah, I heard about it on the radio.
Yeah. So borders, ports, motorways, media companies, distribution centres, and now Groningen Airport blocked as the Dutch farmers take the fight to the government over green policies destroying business.
Oh, no, I didn't hear about it on the radio. I heard about it from Paul Joseph Watson.
I'm just wondering, have you pressed the button to switch to you once so far?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
And I forgot to introduce you. So I'm Ben Osborne, and you are
Lawrence.
Button.
There we go.
And
Lawrence. I am Lawrence.
And we're the Crypto Twins. Yay!
And Adam Smith is here as well.
Yes, my little buddy Adam Smith. So which I got from donating to the Adam Smith Institute. Got my little bust.
So yeah, I heard about the Dutch protests, riots on a Paul Joseph Watson video, and yeah, apparently they want to cut nitrogen emissions by an insane amount, and the farmers are like walking cattle up towards government buildings, like in the city, and like threatening to slaughter them in the street and all this sort of stuff. And apparently one of the politicians said, unfortunately, some of you are no longer going to be able to do what you're doing, or something along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah, the problem is with green policies is that they cost a lot, and no one. You have to consider the economics of the situation. It's like whenever, you're just obsessed with money. You can't talk about economics. We're trying to save the world. Well, actually, economics is very, very, very important, especially if you want to know whether or not these policies are going to have any effect and how much it's going to cost us and how much it's going to reduce our standard of living. Because I think most people, if they realise just what it will cost, will probably rather accept the terrible position of having to move their house once every 20 years if they want to live next to the seaside, because it's encroaching that tiny little amount every year. It's not worth it, the green policies.
People are going to find out what it entails pretty soon anyway.
Yes, exactly. I mean, this is it. That's what's going on in Holland, is they're finding that green policies is massively destructive. And what that means is that it's putting up their costs of production, which is going to push up the cost of food, which is going to push up the cost of food to the customer, which means the consumer is going to have less to spend on other goods. It's massively damaging to the economy. Anything that's green that doesn't cost anything, people will do. Anything that's green that costs very little, people will do. But green policies that cost a fortune and destroy companies, that is what politicians have to enforce. You see, government, you only need government to enforce things that people don't want to do on their own. Because if people are happy to do something voluntarily, they will do it. The government is only needed when you're making someone do something against their will. Such simple things, but people don't quite realise, about the implications of these things. So yeah, but also,
it only takes a little bit of common sense to understand that the government have the use of force and rich people don't. So if you're wondering who's to blame, it's a simple and obvious answer.
Well, not necessarily, because the rich people use the government.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the government is the facilitator, because
exactly.
Without them, the rich people have no force.
Yeah. You give the government power, and then rich people buy that power. The problem is with giving the government power, not with the rich people buying that power. Incentives are always going to cause people to act a certain way.
People will always act in their own interest.
You need to change the incentive structure, not just, clench your fist and scream at the sky and say, human behavior, change, human nature, change. It's not going to happen. You need to change the incentive structure. But the thing that's interesting to me about this is, as I said, is that we're seeing a lot of problems from the third world, and now we're starting to see it is happening in the Western world. Although they're saying it's because of green policies, which is very vague. I mean, is that because they refuse to, frack for gas, or they won't? They've got lots of coal and they refuse to burn that. And instead they want to import it from another country, which is very green, isn't it? So, but just on this, you've got the German benchmark 1 year forward electricity contract surging to all-time highs above 340 per megawatt hour, 340 euros per megawatt hour, and I looked at the chart, it's up almost tenfold.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. But then again, and I'm guessing it's because Germany have been in such a bad position, they have now resorted to burning coal for power. But how long that's going to take to come into effect, who knows? So you've got a massive spike in the cost of energy.
I wonder if that's wholesale. That's what the energy companies are paying. Because at my shop, I'm paying. Well, it's 44. No, I just signed a new contract. It's 40 or 41p per kilowatt hour times 1,000 is £400 per kilowatt hour. So I would imagine that would be a wholesale price.
Well, it says German 1 year forward baseload electricity. I don't know what baseload means per megawatt hour.
Baseload.
Yeah, so it's got to be the cost to the producer. So at current price levels, German manufacturing is going to crumble, was the end of that headline. So yeah, Germany, Holland, these are not third world countries by any stretch. I forget, is Germany like the third or second largest manufacturer or exporter in the world?
It's I think it's for sure 100% the biggest exporter in Europe. I think a couple of years ago they were overtaken by China, and I think they overtook America.
No, China's number one.
Yeah,
China's number one and has been for a long time.
I don't think it is for a long time.
Are you kidding? China?
Yeah, they export lots of little bits and bobs, but Germany is just chucking cars out left, right, and centre. And I mean, they obviously make a lot more than cars. Obviously, they've got Airbus as well. And German engineering is kind of second to none. So they're exporting all sorts of machinery. And I knew this one. I used to work at a magazine that basically did interviews with manufacturing companies. And there was tons in Germany. They're still manufacturing so much stuff. We're doing nothing. America's doing nothing. But Germany's huge.
Well, no, I've just pulled it up.
Was I right?
Kind of. You said United States is doing nothing.
Oh, not nothing, but
yeah. So China is 28.7% of global manufacturing output. United States is 16.8 in second. Now I think Germany was third, but now third spot is Japan with 7.5% of global manufacturing output, and Germany is 5.3% of global manufacturing output, with India in fifth and South Korea in sixth with 3%.
Samsung's huge.
Samsung.
We sold the E. Samsung. It's not just phones and TVs; they're doing washing machines and all sorts. So
what's interesting about this is it's kind of like, this is what the real list of the richest countries in the world are. It's China, United States, Japan, Germany, India, South Korea. Or it's not the way things are right now, but that's the way it's going to come out in the wash. Because Japan's having serious currency problems, but at the same time, if they're producing that much, it's like they will weather the storm. They're producing things of value, and therefore the money doesn't necessarily matter so much. But yeah, I mean,
What is it? I think the population of Japan is like half of America.
Yes, yeah, it's mental, even though it's so tiny.
Less than half. I think it's about 160, 162 or something like that million.
Yeah, I think Tokyo's the most densely populated city in the world.
Yeah.
God, I keep throwing. I'm gonna have to keep googling these things. So, we are in the top 10 of manufacturing countries.
Really?
Yeah. What do we make?
I don't know.
How can we be in the top 10? So yeah, 1.8%. 1.8%, and we're in 9th position, just in front of Indonesia.
I mean, saying that, there is down in St Albans, in fact, Porterswood. You know Porterswood? There's a place that does electronic components there. There's a place in Wellington City that does specialised cabling and stuff. So, and up north where the property's cheaper and so is the labour, yeah, there's still quite a few bits of manufacturing going on there, but nothing like it used to be. This country is just a dry husk of its former self. So,
yeah, you've also got. I don't know how much this would mean on a global scale, but you've got Airbus in Stevenage, yeah. GlaxoSmithKline
in
Stevenage. The company that made the Mars rover, whatever it's called, ExoMars or something. There's a lot going on. Yeah, I suppose we do make some stuff. We make bad vaccines, apparently. Oh my God, I just said the word. We don't get removed from YouTube, but
just bleep it out.
The AZ one that didn't do so well. So